In what ways does violence extremism manifests in your country or context? What do you think are the factors driving it? What are the consequences of such manifestations?
Left-wing extremism (LWE) based on communist economic ideology, where socio-political structures are challenged via violent revolution. Religious identity-based hate crimes, religious terrorism. This form of terror focuses on religious imperatives, a presumed duty or in solidarity for a specific religious group against one or more religious groups. Narco-terrorism or drug-related violence and terror that creates illegal narco-trafficking zones, especially in northwest India. Gender-based sexual violence of extreme nature. India's Gender Inequality Index rating is 0.524 in 2017, putting it in the bottom 20% ranked countries for that year. Driving factors. A study on left-wing extremism and enrollment of youth has said that relative isolation, economic exclusion, low education level, lack of employable skill and opportunities for engagements, and limited opportunities for upward mobility are critical drivers for marginalized youth to join extremist outfits. The Economic Times, July 14, 2018. The youth in general have a fascination of insurgent in uniform and weapons which entice youths to join the insurgency. The study revealed that 92% of rebels are youth and teenagers. The Economic Times, July 14, 2018. The romanticized pool of better life under the caliphate, specific to ISIS. Spread of fake news in various media platforms, radicalization of youth primarily via the internet, political exclusion and shrinking civic space for youth. Injustice, corruption and mistreatment of certain groups and reactions of extreme right-wing nationalists, particularly towards minorities, refugees, migrants. Rejection of growing diversity in society. While diversity is not a problem per se in India, it becomes so when specific groups feel their interests or safety threatened by other groups. Repression of violence against women in India continues as a result of many systems of sexism and patriarchy in flesh within Indian culture. Young girls get less access to education than their male counterparts. 80% of boys go to primary school, whereas just over half of the girls have the same opportunity. Narco-terrorism. This form of terror focuses on creating illegal narcotics traffic zones. Drug violence in northwest India is an example of narco-terrorism in India. Consequences of such manifestations. According to government reports, about 15,000 people have been killed due to left-wing insurgents activities during the period since 2001 to 16, out of which 8,800 are civilians, 2,700 are security forces and 3,500 are extremists. It is reported that majority of the victims were in the age group of 18 to 35 years age group. As reported by the findings of Citizens Religious Hate Crime Watch, the number of religious identity-based hate crimes has gone up in India in the last 5 years. About 90% of these attacks were reported between 2014 to 18. 62% of the victims belong to the marginalized and minority communities. It is learned from the National Crime Records Bureau that there were 4,540 instances of atrocities against Dalits during 2014 to 2018. 38 incidents of lynching of youths of Dalits and minorities took place last year for the reason of dealing in or eating specific food items, reportedly killing 10 people. The perpetrators and the victims were youths. Time June 28, 2019. Mumbai 26/11 terror attack in 2008, an example of religious terrorism in India. Rape accounted for 10.9% of reported cases of violence against women in 2016 in India.
How is the country, government, civil society, and you, your organization or youth groups, responding to it? What are some of the interventions?
Response and Interventions of government, civil society, and our organizations or youth groups to address the issues. Government. Indian government use police force and paramilitary forces as counter-insurgency measure to stop left-wing extremism. India has joined France, New Zealand, Canada, and several other countries recently in launching a major initiative in Paris to combat terrorism and extremism online and secure the internet. Government builds roads and bridges for improved communication in inaccessible areas. Government runs health, education, employment, and welfare schemes for marginalized people in vulnerable areas through its flagship programs like MGNREGA, NHP, etc. Civil society. Civil society addresses the problem through rights-based approach and interventions including health, education, and livelihood programs, encouraging and capacitating youth in policy advocacy and claiming their rights and entitlements, and integrating marginalized youth with government schemes and provisions. Our organization Shraddha. We have organized youth peace clubs where youths are engaged to mitigate community level conflicts and establish peace through conflict transformation dialogues and developing mutual support groups. Youth empowerment hubs. Our youth empowerment hub organizes second chance education programs and employment oriented skill development programs for school dropout youth of 16 to 35 years old. The hubs help youth to join mainstream education programs and find employment opportunity through job information, resume preparation, interview preparation, and soft skill development.
Based on your on ground experience, do you think that such interventions work, achieve the desired results or outcomes? If not, why are they not working? What needs to be done differently?
Use of police and paramilitary force to counter insurgency only temporarily address the problem, but sustainable development activities will help to a greater extent to address the issue. Here, the mediation of civil society organizations together with local government institutions and school system and faith-based organizations will play a catalytic role to address the issue. What is needed to be done is to engage the youth through education to stop dropout in schools due to bullying, corporal punishments by teachers, and helping the students to co-op with their curriculum, introducing skill training program and providing hand-holding support to youth to find formal sector employment or start their own business. Another intervention can be to engage the youth in sports and cultural activities at the community level. Empowering communities and civil societies, creating messaging and counter messaging online and offline. Use local police and law enforcement to discourage or actively prevent those at risk of engaging in terrorism. Sensitize wider communities about radical linguistic and cultural differences and the need for harmony amongst them. The preventative measures need to address structural, social, economic, and political grievances that lead to radicalization.
Could education be a possible solution? How and what kind of education? What should change in the current systems of education?
Yes, education is a possible solution to establish peace sustainably. Second chance education for school dropout youths, especially the youth from vulnerable areas. Employment-oriented skill development program along with hand-holding support to find employment has high potential to address the issue. The current system of education should be 21st century education with focus on ICT, sports, soft skill, music, dance, and skill building to find employment, identification and mapping of good practices in education.
What effective solutions are available? And how does your organization employ such solutions for PVE?
The practical solutions are second chance education for school dropout youth from vulnerable areas, employment-oriented skill development program, hand-holding support from skilled youth to find employment, education with focus on ICT, sports, soft skill, music, dance, skill building to find employment.
Explain why we should choose you.
I have been working among youth for the last 5 years in left-wing extremist affected areas of India. I have organized a network of 6 youth peace clubs across India, Nepal and Bhutan. being supported by my colleagues and my organization Shraddha. One of my ongoing youth programs is Second Chance Education Opportunity for 125 vulnerable marginalized dropout youths, 45% of whom were women, from left-wing extremism affected areas of Odisha, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. We have formed 3 youth empowerment hubs to ready them for the mainstream. Thank you.